Welcome to Fun in the Kitchen with Raw Foods. My name is Giselle Turi. I'm a woman's anti-aging strategist, and I teach how to be young and sexy and vibrantly healthy at any age. And the way I do it is with whole plant-based foods or raw plant-based foods. And today what I'd like to show you is it is a chocolate candy with almonds, and it's all fresh ingredients, are all raw. It's not cooked, there's no refined sugar, and there's no dairy. So let's get started, okay? All right. So what I have here is I just have this plastic container with some coconut oil. It's virgin coconut oil, and it's not completely melted. So what I'd like to do, I've got some hot water here, and I'm going to pour this around the sides to go ahead and finish melting that oil. Now the reason I do that this way is because there again, you don't want to heat anything too hot. You know, instead of me putting it in a pot and putting it on the heat, that high amount of temperature is going to be over 115 degrees, and it's going to kill the nutritional value. And you don't want to do that, because that's the tools you need for your body. When your body has the tools it needs, so the right nutrition, which is your vitamins, minerals, and enzymes, which help your food digest, then you have the tools for your body to do what it's designed to do naturally, and that's to heal and rebalance itself. Okay, so while that's finishing melting down, I have a little bowl here. Now I don't have exact measurements, I just do approximations, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some organic cacao powder. Now I do a mixture. Cacao powder is a little higher in price. It is actually the real chocolate from the cacao beans, and of course it's high in magnesium. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take approximately, let's see, about a tablespoon. Let's see what we have in here. Okay, I'm just going to use it all. I don't have a lot left here. So I'm guesstimating about 2 tablespoons of this. Now, you can use all of this, you know, just cacao powder, but I like to do a mixture. It kind of keeps the expense down, because that's one of the things people say is it expensive to eat this way? Well, it doesn't have to be. Okay. And then I have here unsweetened cocoa powder. Okay, I happen to get this at Trader Joe's. It's pretty reasonable. So I'm just going to go, so we've got about 2 tablespoons of the cacao powder. So I'm going to put, since I didn't have a lot of that, I'm going to do like 3 heaping, you saw how big that was, right? 3 heaping tablespoons of the cocoa powder. Okay, I'm just going to mix that together. All right. And then what I like to do to use for sweetener, this is organic coconut sugar. Okay, so instead of refined sugar, because refined sugar, it's stripped of all the vitamins and minerals, and it can actually create degenerative disease in the body, or it starts that process. So your foods and desserts and things like that have like refined sugar in it. It's made with refined sugar. It's not good. Okay. It's actually, when it gets in your body, not only does it's very high glycemic, so it'll shoot your blood sugar up really fast, and then that can really drop you. But it also starts the degenerative disease process, and you really want to avoid that. Okay. So that also speeds up the aging process too. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see, 1, 2, these are heaping tablespoons again. I'm going to do 3 heaping tablespoons of that, and then I'm going to just chop it up, make sure it's a fine powder, because sometimes these things, you know, there might be a few lumps in it, so you just want to make it press it down as much as possible. Get it as powdered. Okay, just mix it up. All right. Now what I like to do with my chocolate is I like to add pure vanilla extract. It's just a nice extra flavor. And I say pure, you don't want to use the imitation. Okay. So I am just going to guesstimate, like I said, this is a tablespoon size, but I'm going to guesstimate about a teaspoon of vanilla. So a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. And this is ground cinnamon. I love cinnamon and everything, and or not everything, but a lot of my like my smoothies and a lot of my sweet bars, like oatmeal chocolate bars and such like that, have cinnamon in it because I just love the flavor of it, and also it's very good for you. So I'm just going to shake some in here. I'm going to approximate. I'm just going to do about a teaspoon. I love this stuff, and it really makes a good taste. And I'm going to mix it together really well. Okay. Okay, so I have my cacao powder, and then I have the cocoa powder, and then I have the coconut sugar, the organic coconut sugar for the sweetener. Okay, now my coconut oil is completely melted. I'm going to go ahead and first of all approximate, I'd say about a half a cup. Okay. And stir that in really well. Now, coconut oil is the medium chain fat. It's very healthy for you. Coconut oil is, it's been known for many great benefits. It's good for your skin. It's good internally and topically. I also like to use this after I wash my face. I like to use coconut oil on my skin, just because I know I'm just really nurturing my skin. So I'm just going to mix this up really well so it's liquidy. Now, the organic coconut sugar makes this kind of a grainy texture, but once you get it all together and then you add like your nuts, it turns out really good. So it has a wonderful flavor to it. I am going to taste this a little bit and see if I need to put any more sweetener in it. Okay. I will add some more coconut sugar. Cacao powder and cocoa powder, you've got to remember these aren't sweetened. So when you're dealing with dark chocolate, it's going to have a little bit of a bitterness to it. So that's why I like to add. I'll get this thing open. Okay. And just going to go ahead and do like another tablespoon in there, right up there. Stir that in really well. And a lot of times, well, probably most of the time, I don't even measure. But I'm just giving you some ideas as far as measurements to kind of help you, because in the beginning it's nice to have something to follow. Okay, this is still really liquidy. If it's really thick and you don't have it running like this, and then you spread it in your container, and after it's had a chance to set up, sometimes it turns into more of a brownie instead of a candy bar, which is cool too. But you know, I'm shooting for candy bar type texture where you can break it in pieces and eat it. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, I've got this all mixed. I've got my cinnamon, my vanilla, and cocoa powder, cacao powder, coconut sugar, and then the coconut oil. Okay. So I'm just using this kind of container. It's got a flat bottom, and all I'm going to do is just pour this liquid in there. And move over here and see a little bit better. There we go. Maybe. Okay. So all I'm going to do is just put all this liquid ingredient in this container. And what happens is with the coconut oil, after I pour it in the container and then I put my toppings on it, then, well, I'm going to use nuts today. But after I do that and I stick it in the refrigerator, what happens is it sits for about 30 minutes to an hour. And when coconut oil gets chilled, it firms up, okay? So then that firms up and makes you nice, you know, crispy bars. So I'm just going to spread this evenly along the bottom. See, you can kind of see. All right. And put this back in here. I'm going to set this aside a moment. Now what I'd like to do is I'm going to take some almonds. Now these are raw almonds. I get them at Trader Joe's, raw almonds. Pretty reasonable at Trader Joe's. I think it was around $5 for 16 ounce of 1 pound. So not a bad deal. much better than going to a specialty health food store because you're going to pay a lot more. Okay, so just some little ideas there to keep your expenses down. So what I do is I just have it on the chopping board, have a nice sharp knife, and you just want to be very careful. And I put my hand here flat on the top and then have a firm grip on the handle, and then I just go across the nuts and chop them up into little pieces. Now this is just one of the things you can do. You can also do dried fruit to top it, dried cranberries, raisins, dried blueberries. There's all sorts of things you can do. You can also use coconut flakes. I would suggest unsweetened coconut flakes. Make sure it's unsweetened because otherwise it's going to be laden with refined sugar. And there again, you want to avoid that because it does create premature aging. It also creates the body to start breaking down because it starts the degenerative process. So premature aging, okay. So this is something we want to avoid, and you want your body to be healthy and strong. So it is possible to have healthy desserts without having that concern of, unhealthy, after effects, if you will. Okay, so I just have these chopped up. I'm just going to scatter them on the top. I'll just lift this up so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to scatter it as evenly upon the top as I can. It's just sort of a nice coat. And of course, some of it will go down into the chocolate, which is fine. I'll just keep doing that till I can get it all coated if I can, or as much as possible. Okay, that's it. Yep, that's pretty well coated. Okay, so this is, you can kind of see how it is. I'm going to tilt it just a bit. If I tilt it too far, of course, it's going to run. So there you go. So you have a chocolate candy bar without refined sugar, without dairy. You're not baking any nutrition out. You've got some raw chopped almonds on top. There again, you can use walnuts. You can use any kind of nuts, cashews, walnuts, what have you, or you can do dried fruit. So thank you so much for joining us today, and have a beautiful day. Until next time, bye-bye.